the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Phyllis, would you do the roll call, please?
Larry Stone.
Here.
Brian Anson.
Here.
Donald Bell.
Here.
Gary Gregg.
Here.
Tom Haynes.
Here.
George Howard.
Present.
Jeff Porter.
Here.
Ted Pappas. Greg Root.
Here.
Dan Schroeder.
Here. Seems we have a quorum, so we'll conduct business. The first item of business is approval of the minutes of the general meeting from 4/1/2014. I have a motion for approval, please.
So moved.
Seconded.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes. Okay, next on the issue is law enforcement, Mr. Haynes.
Oh boy, let me find you. Finance?
No,
You're law enforcement. Number 6,
It's in your
your binder.
Yeah, it's in your binder there.
Oh, there it is. Law enforcement, all right. What do you want me to give a report on here?
Well, we need to ask to approve minutes.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the law enforcement committee?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Move and second. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Passes. Next thing, intergovernmental agreement.
That's me too, isn't it?
Yep.
Law enforcement,
You're on the wrong.
oh, one thing
Here,
again.
give me that one.
It's on the back side of that one. Resolution got
Resolution to execute the law enforcement mutual aid agreement and the existence and formation of Illinois law enforcement and systems of intergovernment.
Moved to enter the resolution.
Been moved to move the
So moved. I have a second to
second.
move and seconded. All in favor, or is there any discussion on this? Bill, would you like to give a quick synopsis of what this is?
It's an intergovernmental agreement, it's called ILEAS. It's through the state, and what it is it's an agreement that allows us to commit any resources to other agencies that might have a disaster or something like that to assist them, and they reciprocate the same way. If we have a disaster of some type, we contact them through ILEAS, and they bring whatever resources we need to assist us with that disaster.
Thank you. All in favor of approving this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Bill, do you want a quick report on your jail
Beat
binder?
it to death. But I got here for you. It's just showing what we brought in this year, 2014 fiscal year, and what we should have brought in according to the revenue in the budget.
$400.
$900 shy of what we were anticipating to be.
Thank you.
For the amount we had budgeted in 14.
So, at this point.
Well, that sounds like we're pretty close to being on track.
Less than 15% off.
Okay, moving on to transportation. I'd like a motion to approve the minutes for the April 23rd, 2014 Highway Committee meeting. Been moved. Have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have an amendment to the county board resolution, motor fuel tax levy. Can I have a motion to attachment A?
Yeah. That's what I was gonna ask. What's
Attachment
that?
A, 1-1.
Oh, that's the one we discussed.
Yeah, that's what we discussed, right, is
It's a typo, basically.
basically it's in the wrong column in that.
Yeah,
Some of
okay.
the materials in the wrong column, and Jimmy corrected them, and just wanted a note for,
It's not any different, it's just a
No.
put it in the wrong
Yeah,
column.
right. So can I have a motion to approve this amendment?
So move.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Next, animal control, Mr. Ruth.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 22nd meeting of animal control. Need a second?
I'll second.
And seconded. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Fred. Next, we have public health, Mr. Ansu.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 15th Public Health Department meeting.
Make that motion.
Been moved, got a second?
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Motion passes. Veteran Assistance, Mr. Howard.
There was no treasurer's report. We didn't have a treasurer available. I think our treasurer was ill. So basically, the report gives you the same information that we usually get on a quarterly basis. I would entertain any questions. Motion to approve the Veterans Assistance Commission minutes.
So moved.
Been moved, second, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Passes. Update on jail refinance, Public Building Commission. Monty?
Yes, Public Building Commission has moved forward as directed by the county board to refinance the current 2010 jail bonds. We're right on track with that. We've, after final approval of the county board and final approval of the Public Building Commission, the rates will be locked in next week on the 13th. Closing, if so approved, will be on the 28th of March. And in your packets, y'all got the, where we would have a $691,748 savings by the refinance. It's not as good as numbers as what we could have if we would have went out and got insured and got a rating, but due to the time frame of what we had, that was just simply impossible to do that. But the effective rate would be 5.44 today. The bank right now has agreed to lock their rate in at 275 basis points. The only thing that will be on that when we close will be what the LIBOR rate is, which right now that rate's pretty much still where we're at 5.44, or right real close to that. So, and I think Carla here has a couple of things that she'd like to address too.
Just wanted to mention that the one thing I forgot to, when I was going through the points earlier during our public hearing, one thing I forgot to mention is that it is possible that the IRS could determine, on a general thing, because they have reduced our payments, our subsidy payments the last 2 rounds, they could determine to further further cut or eliminate the subsidy. So it could be even a greater savings by locking in this rate and refinancing now. That was one of the things I forgot to mention, is that we don't know, because the IRS has, with their sequestration and other things, they've cut the subsidy amount. So that's another thing. So just the black and white numbers that we mentioned earlier, The number one being the savings on the lease payments, the annual lease payments every year, and it's a total savings of over $690,000 as we estimate, as the rates are right now. Of course, they can go up or down a little bit. And then the second thing being that the numbers of the inmates being on the trend that they are, and the fact that the contract with the federal government was, I think it was at $50 an hour per head, and now it's $65 per head. And there was a sheet that we money we did, and so there's an operating pro forma operating budget that has the break-even point at 36 federal inmates and 0 Cook County inmates. So if you had 36 federal inmates, 0 Cook County, and you would break even on the lease payments. So those are the points that and actually it's slightly in the positive on the 36, but that's 35 would not be enough. So 36 is about the break even and plus a little sum. Those are the main points, and the cold numbers, the hard black and white numbers that PDC has been looking at, and so that's what we wanted to mention tonight.
The payment that she was talking about with the federal subsidy, that's about $170,000. That would take our payments from 520 up to 680. So 680, 690. So that would be devastating. That subsidy.
But we decided against preparing another spreadsheet showing that, because that's so up in the air. We don't know if it would be next year, it would be 10 years from now. We didn't want to give that scenario on a spreadsheet. So what's on the spreadsheet is something that's more probable, is what the pro forma is. And actually we were going through the expenses, and Lonnie and I thought that those expenses were a little on the high side, but they are there.
So this will eliminate all of our our exposure to
Whether that
rates
issue
change in the future now.
Yes,
Right?
yeah, whether the IRS decides, again, to cut it, to cut it even further than they've already cut it, or to eliminate it altogether, and what if the government says, okay, we're gonna stop this, no more subsidies, in general, so
I'm much more secure in knowing what the payments are gonna be from now on out than being up in the air. Gary, you'd like to?
Yeah, I've got a question. Since we didn't really have a number figured in, we were figuring at 71. Could we use the 36 number as a definite number of a breaking even point to where we can figure off of that instead of some number that's up in the air?
Okay, whenever you have an estimate like this, and you're looking at the future, that brings in certain assumptions, right? We say, okay, this is how much it's going to cost us for benefits and for wages for these jailers. And so we used the figures that we could see were, so we use these figures today. So if tomorrow the minimum wage goes up to whatever it, doubles or whatever it is, and so I mean, the budget is, the county to decide, and I'm not a finance person, but this is something that you could, and you want to look at what's more likely, not just the break even, but you want to, normally in business you look at you do a sensitivity analysis. So what you look at is, okay, this is what it would look like if we only had 36 prisoners, and these are our assumptions. Do we want to tweak any of the assumptions because we think this will go down or this will go up? Right. And then so this is the set of assumptions we went with, and I think they're a little on the high side with the cost. So I don't think we were bidding it low or looking at the low cost. Okay. So that I think it's a good idea, but it's a good general forecast. So can you use that? Sure. I mean, again, that's for your body to decide what numbers you want to go with. That's a break-even number. It may not be very, I mean, if you look at the numbers, if you look at this sheet that was passed around that has the yellow, if you look at 30, the full, what says full capacity on the right column of the pro forma operating is really not full capacity, because you have 100 and some beds.
That's correct.
This only shows 72 inmates.
Right.
30-some Cook County,
36 and 36.
36 Cook County, 36 federal. So that's what we're calling full, but it's really not full. You could have more. So that's,
The addition is full. The
You're
72
right
bed
for doing
addition is full.
yeah,
You're right
yeah,
for-
yeah. Yeah, so we looked at the numbers. If you look at 2013, in, was it June? In June, we had 36 federal and 39 Cook County. So that was the average daily inmate. So on one particular day, that could have been more and lower.
Sure.
In July, there were 35 federal and 36 Cook. So, you know, that's, we're calling that full, like a full jail. But we're then looking at, well, what would it cost just to break even? And 35 would not break even. It'd be a little on the negative side, so we use 36. It's a little on the positive side, so we're saying, okay, 36 is the break-even point.
What I'm trying to figure out is the difference between being off 400,000 and 1,000.
And that's a budget, she's right, that's a budget issue for us, Gary, when we
Yes.
start working
Absolutely,
budget
but
here in the next couple months.
See,
And we're gonna have to come up with a
It can be
number.
broadcast throughout
Yeah.
the media, you know,
Yeah,
these numbers, and when somebody walks up to me and says, you know, what's the break-even point on this? We're not losing any money, and if I can come up with a figure to where say, well, our break-even point is around 36, but we average X amount of people, so that's what goes over the top, and I'm trying to figure out between 400,000 and 1,000 bucks, that's a lot of money. Where are these figures at? Where are they correct at? Because anybody could ask me, I don't know. I don't know how they could vary $400,000.
And if you look at 2000, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No,
in 2013, and I was just looking at the calendar year, January through December, and I calculated the annual daily population, daily inmate population average is 71. That includes Mercer County inmates,
Right.
but Mercer County inmates were around 10, 11,
Right.
13. So
average is 14, so you can just subtract
14.
14
So
from
subtract
that.
14, and
off
you're
the
well
71.
over.
54.
So
Off
you're
the
well
71 to
over.
give you 54.
54, but that gives you budget, not break even. That's a totally separate figure.
You're well over, exactly.
That gives you
Yeah.
budget. That gives you what we budgeted for.
Sure.
Not necessarily what it costs to run the jail. They're two different
Right.
figures.
Right.
So then
And I
you're-
think that's where some of the confusion with the money takes place too, is we're talking about, you know, what it takes to run the jail or what it takes to run a jail for 102 prisoners or 71 prisoners, or the difference in between, and, you know, we're talking budget figures and we're talking break-even figures. And I think that's where some of the,
Yeah, the Public Building Commission was tasked to come up with and refinance.
Yeah.
And we used the same formulas of the prior two studies that was done. The first study was done in 2004, and the second study was done in 2008. And we basically used the same pro forma budgets, and these costs, these break-even costs, are on what is the cost associated with the jail addition.
Right.
It's not the cost to run the whole jail. It's not covering 12 jailers, it's covering 4 jailers. It's not covering all the others. It's covering what's in there.
And back when the original jail was built, the original one, and that was funded with bonds that are the same as what you're, well, not the same because they were, you know, publicly offered, and this is a private because you're getting a better rate. But it was the same thing in that you didn't have an opt-out clause, and it's actually the same lease agreement that Chapman and Cutler was the original attorneys who represented you back then
Right.
in doing the initial bond offering or bond issuance. And Chuck Jarrett is the bond attorney, and he took that lease from 1980 something and just changed it a little bit to fit your situation today.
Sure.
So that's the same thing that you're doing today, you would be doing that you did back, on a refinance that you did back in the 80s. So,
Thank you.
One question. You're saying our subsidy is $170,000 right now. What was it originally? Have that number with you? Just a week? the members will have an idea how much you've drawn.
How much we've drawn?
How much it is drawn.
How much the
Oh,
subsidy
that's
go
from
down?
the
It's
original
dropped, it's dropped
start.
about, it's dropped 7.2% from the original, so it's about 15,000.
Yeah, that's 190 some thousand to begin with, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it
Yeah,
fluctuates, it
yeah.
fluctuates where it goes, and, you know, at one time we had, it was, dropped 7.9%, and it dropped 7.2%, and so, I mean, it's kind of hard for us on the Public Building Commission, because I don't know what that subsidy's gonna be until I get that check. Because I don't get notice from the Department of Treasury until they basically deposit the check. So I don't know if I'm getting 86,000 or if I'm getting 79,000.
Thank you.
Any more questions, Carla and Lonnie, board? Seeing none, let's move on to economic development. Ryan?
Approve the economic development meetings, or minutes, from April 24th.
Is that a motion to approve that? Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes. GIS meeting. Mary, would you like to give us an overview of how the GIS meeting is?
Yes, I recently attended a preliminary discussion on GIS mapping. It was at the city hall. I encountered Bob Mark, the new city administrator for City of Toledo. And he approached me and with Chad Sperry, a WIU director for GIS mapping department there at the college in Cone. They became great friends through when Bob worked zoning in Medina County. So when Bob came to the city and took on that new direction of trying to get some type of good mapping, GIS mapping within the city of Aledo, to get water mains, get a lot of data together and layered as such. So in working with them a little bit through our office to give them some data shape files and parcel numbers. And so he said, well, why don't we try getting a preliminary discussion? It wasn't so-called a meeting, it was just a discussion. And he said, well, do you think that would work, that we'd get someone to, a few public officials that would get some interest in the intent of the meeting to encourage geological information systems within the government, Mercer County government agencies, and that would support government functions and promote economic development by having good GIS. So Chad Sperry is a very wise and very educated, knowledgeable person with GIS, and we actually obtained 3 shapefile layer to add to our GIS in Mercer County through him, and so it's a good high resolution. Those as many of you may know, that to fly the county would cost thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. So in coordination with him and me and Bob Mart, I did gain some valuable information for the county. So I now have 2003, which was our old GIS layer for aerial photography, which is very much needed in assessment work and visuals and with our parcels, but we have the 2011 high resolution along with the 2012 now. The pixel count on it, which I should have brought a picture to give you an example of what it looks like with the resolution difference, but it's okay. It'll serve its purpose for a while, so that'll save the county some money, hopefully, that we will use these layers. So in all, the main intent of the meeting was to, you know, the sheriff came, Jeff wasn't able to come, Phyllis came. We just had a few people within the county and to get things started. So the discussion on the GIS collaboration in Mercer County, the continued discussion hopefully will keep going and hopefully get us into a direction where all cities and villages and everybody can work together, collaborate that information as one. So we're just now in the midst of trying to discuss where this could go for other villages and cities to get their own GIS going.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, thank you, Mary.
Thanks.
Okay, moving on to finance. We can't approve minutes since we haven't completed I would make a motion to approve the claims pending the finance committee approval that will be happen after this meeting. Does that sound acceptable, Greg?
So moved.
Yeah, second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion on that? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next thing we have a delinquent. Gotta get my right page number.
Holidays?
No, we got more on finance here. I've gotta get out.
So I can explain it real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Our Mercer County tax agent had to change his name for some reason, I don't know. But anyway, we just have to re-sign an agreement with him to administer our delinquent tax program.
Okay, I found out here.
And so it's just a matter of technically changing his name in the agreement.
Okay, so amendment to delinquent tax program agreement. I make a motion to pass this.
Second.
Move and second, any discussion?
No.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, passes. Next, we have a resolution for deed of conveyance for parcel number 07-0831-210-002, which is in your packet. Do I have a motion to pass
This is a parcel that's was sold by the county, right?
Yes, by the county tax agent.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Second.
Moved and second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next, resolution for county holidays for 2014, old business. Let's see, next, we have no holidays. Yes, we do.
Yes,
We have
do.
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
I would like to approve Memorial Day as a paid vacation. Day.
Second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Appointments. We have an appointment for Gary Esslinger to the Green Fire Protection District Trustee. I make the motion to approve this. Do I have a
Also
second?
moved. Second, I mean?
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of Gary Esslinger being appointed trustee, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next, we have Law Enforcement Committee. I move to appoint Dan Schroeder on the Law Enforcement Committee, so we have a full slate of 3.
That's second it.
We move and second it. Any discussion? Yes, George?
Dan was initially appointed to the Law Enforcement Committee when I first sat on this board and resigned from it. Has things changed since then, or?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
Dan, you think you'll be able to make meetings and everything?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion has been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes. Welcome back to law enforcement, Dan. Other business, non-action items. Tim Lovedahl is here to present the Tri-County Waste Management goals.
You have the report in front of you. It's pretty self-explanatory as usual. We did have a very busy month of April. Our record last year was 92,000 pounds of electronics in 1 month. That was attributable to the very big rain event that we had, mostly in the south of here. Flooded a lot of basins, a lot of stuff. And I have no idea what happened this year. Other than it was a very cold winter, I think that kept people in. We were a little slow early, and spring fever hit hard. So we're down a part-time employee right now, so I apologize if things have been a little sporadic on the reporting side here, but we're off and running for this year. We have preemption cleanup coming up in June. we had a live